sometimes an inconvenience for a client, but at the end of the day, it's better for the client to be protected to know that the bank's not going to send money to somebody who's not supposed to get it. It's just so important to have mentors and people in your corner to help you succeed. Any career, you have relationship management. It's easy to be good at something when times are good. When a client reaches a struggle or has a hiccup, that's when you're really tested at how good you are, and make sure that what we're providing them is what they need to help them be efficient and reduce risk.
Hello, and welcome back to Klik TV. Here, we talk to businesses and discuss the ways that they leverage technology for business success. My name's Karen, and my guest today is Chris Marasco, Senior Vice President of Commercial Banking at Sandy Spring Bank. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Karen.
Hey,
good
thanks.
to see you.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while, and we're excited to have you here today.
Happy to be here.
Really looking forward to hearing more about you and how you help your clients at Sandy Spring Bank. But before we get started, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? What do you do when you're not working?
Oh, when I'm not working, I like to cook.
Awesome.
We were just joking before we started about Neil's pad taste in pizza. Well, I actually have a wood-fired pizza oven at home and make my own crust, make my own sauce, and make pizzas.
That's awesome. What's your favorite topping?
I'm a basic guy, pepperoni.
Okay, solid.
Yeah.
All right.
Can't go wrong with that.
No, you can't. You can't. Well, I'm excited to dive into your role at Sandy Spring and would love for you to tell us the strategies that you employ to build and maintain long-term relationships with your clients.
Excellent question. And bringing technology into it has really changed the way we manage our client relationships.
Okay.
More access, easier access with texting and of course voicemails, emails at all hours of the day. But I think what's common across all of those platforms is staying in touch. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily have to answer them the second you hear your phone ding,
Right.
but letting them know you're there and they know that you're there means a lot. I had a client once call me on a Saturday, left a message, and I listened to the message, and he had forgotten to transfer money for payroll, and he was very concerned. Called him back and said, "I got you. You're good. Don't worry. Not going to be any problems." But technology has afforded us that kind of access.
Absolutely.
And use it to your advantage, but don't let it rule what you do. It's very important.
And that's such a great example because that's not just affecting your relationship, but it's affecting their employees, their families, and you really see that impact. Can you help describe successful business development campaign or initiative that you've been part of with Sandy Spring?
Interesting question.
Okay.
And my experience has been through my years that a true campaign doesn't work well. So oftentimes banks, and I'm not saying that Sandy Spring does this, but I've experienced in my past, they'll buy lists off of UCC filings or this list or that list, and they'll set up a campaign to send out letters or call on these people. And my experience has been they're rarely successful.
Right.
Cold calling and banking don't go well together, and the lists are kind of a cold call. To figure out a way to make that call warm, whether that's an introduction by somebody you know. Technology, LinkedIn is really great for finding out if you know someone who is at that company. Those types of things are far more successful than just out of the blue phone call or walk in the front door.
Being in sales myself, I couldn't agree more. So how has your role evolved since you started, and what do you think has been the main driver of that change?
Oh, so it was easier years ago, but as the bad guys get more creative, it makes us have to slow down. Mm-hmm. We have to verify things numerous ways to make sure that the person we're talking to is the person we believe we're talking to. So things that we used to be able to do, let's say via email with a phone call confirmation,
Right.
we can no longer do it that way, which is sometimes an inconvenience for a client.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's better for the client to be protected, to know that, the bank's not going to send money to somebody who's not supposed to get it. And
Yeah.
I, for one, am not afraid of annoying a client to make sure that the person I'm talking to is actually the person that's supposed to be.
And hopefully they appreciate that, because
They do.
You're truly protecting them. I mean, we can relate in our line of work.
Right. And annoy is probably not the right word.
Yeah.
They do appreciate it, and I feel comfortable that I'm looking out for them.
Doing your due diligence.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
So can you share any advice for somebody looking to pursue a career in relationship management or business development?
I think any career, you have relationship management. Whether you're managing clients, you're managing colleagues, and I don't mean manipulating. I mean truly managing a relationship and being with that person where they are. Mm-hmm. Everybody has a different personality, and you can't treat all people the same. You can. Your results might not be what you want them to be.
Yeah.
But if you can understand how somebody receives information and how they like to be talked to or connected with, it makes for a longer term, easier relationship. And check your egos at the door.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference when you understand that we're all kind of the same, no matter what job we have.
Mm-hmm. Driven by the same basic needs and,
Right.
and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
And wanting to feel heard.
Right.
Right.
Is your business seeking a reliable IT and cybersecurity provider to help secure your business in this ever-evolving landscape? Well, I have great news. Klik Solutions, headquartered in Baltimore, Maryland, is coming to Central Texas. Security starts with strategy. Klik will work with you to help you start from the beginning fundamentals, understand the compliance and regulatory requirements that your business faces, and work with you to develop compliance assessment and strategy, cyber threat monitoring and detection, incident response and recovery, as well as cyber awareness training and countless other services. Don't leave your business at risk. Take proactive steps today to secure your business and your peace of mind. Contact Klik, let's set up a consultation and get you compliant.
So what training or professional development resources have you found the most beneficial in your career?
There are so many gurus that like to talk about sales tactics and sales success, and that's been going on for centuries.
Right.
I think what's been valuable for me, and I think in today's environment, we've gotten away from this a little bit. I'll liken it to a business, a large business, a corporation, a publicly held company. They have a board of directors that make sure the business is staying true to its mission, vision, values, and performing well for the shareholders. A smaller company might have its banker, its IT professional, attorney, CPA to help them make the right decisions. An individual can do the same thing by talking to people who are more knowledgeable, more experienced, not necessarily in their field, but just in life.
Yeah.
Your own, the phrase I've heard is it's your own mastermind alliance. People you can go to when you have a difficult decision to make, when you want to learn about something that is foreign to you, whether that's a sales tactic or a communication strategy. Mm-hmm. It's just so important to have mentors and
Absolutely.
people in your corner to help you succeed. That's what I did. Mm-hmm. And I still talk to those people. Not every day.
Surrounding yourself of folks.
Surrounding yourself. They say you're the average of the 5 or 10 people you hang around most.
Mm-hmm.
How average do you want to be?
Excellent point. So talking about these different things of how you've managed and your outlook, what are some of the differentiators and the key points that you feel makes yourself and Sandy Spring Bank stand out and above the rest?
That's a very good question. No shortage of banks in this area. All banks have, most banks have lines of credit and financing vehicles of different types and deposit accounts and CDs. It's really delivery, how you set yourself apart. Delivery and access to information. I think my clients know that I'm not going to sell them anything.
Right.
I'm going to make sure that what we're putting in place is something they truly need to help them be successful, to help their business be successful. And if I don't think they need it, I'm going to be honest about it. I'm not just going to sell it to them.
Yeah.
And I think if you show up genuine like that for your clients, no matter what industry you're in, you're going to keep a long-term client.
Well, excellent. I couldn't agree more. And I think something that both Klik Solutions, Sandy Spring Bank, different areas, but there's a lot of unknowns and constant changes. Us, cyber threats are constantly evolving. And it's been an interesting year with a lot of unknowns about where the economy's going. So having a trusted partner that they can call is huge. Are there anything or items that you'd love to just share or touch on with where things are or you are right now?
So before I get to that, I want to say, it's easy to be good at something when times are good.
Absolutely.
When a client reaches a struggle or has a hiccup, that's when you're really tested at how good you are at being that advocate, being that resource, being that advisor. And you're the person that's representing that client and all of their employees in this case, to the bank.
Yeah.
And to do that, and when times are tough, that's what sets you apart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So your question about
how it is that you think yourself and Sandy Spring Bank are excelling or doing things different during this time.
Well, it's exactly that. We're listening to the clients. We're being proactive rather than reactive. We do look at financial statements to see look for trends, things that maybe they've missed, or maybe things that we should be talking about now rather than when they become a problem for the client.
Okay, great.
And that's where experience in our relationship really comes to show how important it is.
So can you help explain to me, what is the role of a commercial banker?
My role as a commercial banker with Sandy Spring is to, one, develop business for the bank, but also to manage the clients that I work with.
Okay.
My client base ranges in revenue size. Companies doing between 5 million and 100 million. Those are sort of the outliers.
Okay.
The bulk of them are large, small businesses and medium-sized businesses, and I'm helping them with their banking and financing needs. So what that means is,
I was going to ask.
On the financing side, make sure they have the right working capital financing vehicles, or if they're an equipment-intensive company, help them finance their equipment.
Okay.
Sometimes companies moving into a new space and they need to borrow money for tenant improvements, or they're buying a business, those types of things. So that's acquisitions, working capital lines. You may have heard accounts receivable, lines of credit, those sorts of things, to help them with their daily and weekly cash flows.
Okay.
On the other side of the balance sheet, I also help them with their banking needs. Every bank, every business has a bank account and they use certain services. I make sure that what we're providing them is what they need to help them be efficient and reduce risk.
Okay.
So, deposit accounts, treasury management services, that includes things like check fraud prevention measures, as well as ACH fraud prevention measures.
Okay.
Online activities, those sorts of things.
Okay. So I feel like this might be a silly question, but is there an industry that you tend to work with more or less? I mean, everybody has a bank account, right?
That's right. And it's not a silly question, not at all, because in some banks, there are particular verticals where relationship managers focus on just one industry.
Okay.
My role is more of a generalist. However, my expertise has started to evolve with government contractors and trade contractors. So government contractors in this market, pretty prolific.
Right.
On the trade contractor side, I'm working with commercial flooring companies, HVAC companies, fire life safety, those sorts of things.
Makes sense.
So those tend to make up the bulk of my portfolio.
Okay. And I'd imagine it's oftentimes the owner or controller.
The owner,
are those the people you're working with?
Yeah, depending on the size of the company, 90% of the time the owner is involved in some way. Maybe it's the CFO, maybe it's a high-level controller, but those are generally the people that I'm working with on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. Well, thank you. That helps because I feel like we all hear of commercial bankers, but not everybody really understands what it is and how the value that you really do bring and how necessary that partnership is. So, okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we wrap up today?
Thank you for having me here. Thanks to Neil and Arthur for bringing me in today.
Yeah.
Neil and I have known each other for the better part of 2 decades, and it's just great to be here and see how well Klik is performing and doing.
We couldn't be happier to have you. Thank you very much. And thank you for watching Klik TV.